I'm James.crid.land, the radio futurologist. I've just been on holiday to New Zealand. MediaWorks operates the national news talk station Radio Live there, and I tuned into the morning show, simply called Paul Henry. With regular news bulletins, guests and interviews, Paul Henry presents the archetypal morning radio program. He sounds warm and friendly, and he has a good rapport with his guests, who all clearly know him well. The program sounds great. And while the station's on FM throughout much of New Zealand, the station almost sounds as if it's on AM, and that's a good thing, with nice, beefy microphones that give a proper, punchy, processed sound that's warm and easy to listen to. The programme has some tight imaging. News and sports segments are enhanced by actuality and sound bites, and the whole thing sounds like a really well-produced radio show. But I didn't listen on the radio. I watched the whole thing on the TV.
Mornings start and finish here. On radio, on TV, online. This is Paul Henry.
MediaWorks also own the national television network TV3, which also takes the Paul Henry Show. This programme, which sounds so good on the radio, actually comes from a television studio. The guests sit round a table with big, chunky microphones in front of them, and those microphones are really the only visual nod to radio. The studio is brightly lit. Paul and his guests mainly use auto cue. The news or sports bulletins look, well, like you'd expect them to look on the television. You can't see any evidence of headphones or headsets. The programme contains none of the normal paraphernalia of radio studios. It was an impressive experience. A telephone interview was excellently handled with visuals on the screen while the interview went on, and a segment called The Panel, which contained a panel of 3 commentators, sounded great and looked fantastic. The sports headlines were covered in a pacey style that worked well in visuals and audio alike. It was clearly radio-led from an editorial standpoint, but that's probably no bad thing. Ultimately, this reflects that breakfast television is mostly listened to rather than watched. Good Morning America, or any other typical morning show on the TV, could make for a great radio show too. Start watching on the television in the kitchen and keep listening on the way to work. Sounds pretty simple to me, so I wonder why it's so comparatively rare. This was probably the first time I've watched a great radio programme, one that sounded like a great radio programme but was on the television. And what a shame that it's only available in such a tiny country like New Zealand, because MediaWorks are really showing how to make great use of the content they already have. So if you ever fancy a holiday, you should probably come over to New Zealand. The beer's great, there's lots to do, and the television has some great radio on it. You can get my free weekly newsletter at james.crid.land, and until next time, keep listening.